Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa Straight Talk. We are Africa Unapologetic podcast that dives deeper into the African immigrant experience in a very unique and straightforward way. I'm Emmanuel Nadeau, and we truly appreciate your continued support of our podcast. Joining me today is my co-host, Kwesi Wilson, a communication studies professor at College of Alameda and the host of the podcast, Telling Tall Stories. If you want to be a guest on our show, email us africastraighttalk@gmail.com. All right, let's get started, Kwesi.
Yes, but we cannot start with a big elephant in the room because we did not mention Kaboshi, who has decided to go behind the scenes and do more of the editing work. And we want to do the drum roll. We have a new co-host.
Okay.
Yes. I'm clapping. That's a drum roll.
That's a
We
drum
have a
roll.
new co-host, and the new co-host is no other than, she has to introduce herself. We can't do it for her.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm Zika. And,
Welcome.
Welcome, Zika.
Thank you.
Welcome to Africa Straight Talk. I'm sure we're going to have fun hearing your
Yes, we
voice,
will.
your input, and everything else. Tell the audience a little bit about you.
Okay. I'm Zika. I started out in broadcast journalism. So, yes, I've been on TV, behind the scenes, tracing stories, writing scripts, doing all that media thing.
Mhm.
But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with the digital side of storytelling, how content travels, how audiences engage, and so on and so forth. So now I'm in grad school studying digital media management, which basically means I overanalyze algorithms for fun and think about streaming platforms way more than maybe the average person, I would say. So I'm really passionate about storytelling, especially stories that connect people across different cultures and experiences. So you could say that I'm naturally curious. I love to ask a lot of questions, I love conversations that go.
That's the role of journalism. That's
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You ask it one way, they don't give you the answer. You ask it another way.
Another way, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this podcast feels like home for me, real talk, smart perspectives, and so on. So I'm really excited, to be here, and I can't wait for what we're about to build together.
Sounds
Very
good. We are
good.
very happy to have you on board. Very, very happy. When
Thank you.
said she was leaving, I almost shed a tear. I have to deal with Nato by myself, and I was like, oh.
What is it? Am I a lion? I'm going to eat you up or what? We are really happy to welcome you, Zika.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here too.
How was your week, Zika? How was your week?
It was a mix of fun and stress. It's my daughter's birthday week, so we're still out celebrating her.
Yeah, we coming to a birthday party. The birthday party for kids are for adults, really, technically.
And the adults come over there, they get
Adults,
drunk.
you see a kid's birthday party and they have drinks,
Yeah.
all kinds of adult stuff there. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. But it wasn't a birthday party
She's on the
for
podcast. It's my birthday.
Yeah, he says it's his birthday, but
Right.
then the adult get drunk.
Right, the adults are the ones. They're more adults than the kids.
Yeah.
in some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week, happy that she's excited to see her cartoon favorite characters, Mickey Mouse and so on. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but stress. We had to do this in the rain
Oh, yeah,
for
it's
her.
raining,
It was
yeah.
raining, yeah. So it was fun though. Another side of experience that will linger a long time for us,
Nice.
and for her too. Yeah,
Nice. It's all about building memories with them. That's the
exactly.
important part. Fond memories too, that is.
hmm
Yeah.
How about you, Nado?
Yeah.
How's your week?
Well, my week has been good. I stay home because it's raining. I love the rain, but I like to stay home when it rains. I don't want to be out
It's the
there.
best feeling ever, isn't it?
Exactly. It's not like these people who are going to Lake Tahoe, Reno, and they're stuck in the snow all over there, you know?
Yes. I like watching those stuff on TV.
Exactly.
What about you, Kwesi? How was your week?
Me,
Or how has your week been? Yeah.
my week, this is a highlight of my week. I've just, no, it's been, um, we had Monday off, right? So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
really did
yeah.
feel like I really got into the week. I just went back to work yesterday. I was in Sacramento, Elk Grove with my mom, and I just got back on, what was it? Monday evening.
Hmm.
So I still feel like I'm weekending, because today and yesterday wasn't that much. Yes, so that's been my week. Just still reeling over. I don't know if anybody's following the UEFA Cup and what happened with Vinicius uh, Junior.
Oh, yeah. What's happened? I was watching part of it yesterday.
Yeah, it's just I think there's an accusation that somebody called him a monkey,
Yeah. I mean, this is
and
not the
multiple
first
people
time.
on.
This is
This
not
is
the
not the
first.
first time,
Yeah.
yes. And so I'm just following the news, right? That's what I've been preoccupied with today, after aside from work, where the Benfica is saying that is an attack, a defamation attack on them and their player, as
Mm.
opposed to them apologizing for what the player did. So it's an interesting take. It's being investigated. And I was like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't affect my life, but that's what you asked me what I've been up to. So
But I haven't seen your compatriot Doku. I haven't seen him playing in the English
you know
English.
why?
Why?
Because they brought in this guy from Ghana, Semenyo,
Oh,
who
yes, Semenyo.
plays,
Yes, yes.
yes, so Man City bought him, and Semenyo plays the same position as Doku. And
Ah,
even though Doku is very good, Semenyo is hot, and Semenyo scores a lot of goals.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. But I like Doku when he get that
Oh
ball.
yeah,
Like
Doku
no,
just knows how to.
nobody can take away the
Yeah,
ball
yeah,
from
he
him.
knows how to pry the defense open.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Zika, what do you think? I mean, the Grammy Awards just took place, and of course, the same people that we know all the time were, I mean, won.
The
Yeah,
usual
the
suspects.
usual suspect.
Well, there's not the usual because you had this. I know it's a question for Zika, but
Yeah.
didn't you have Bad Bunny?
No, no, no. In terms of best contemporary African
Oh, Afrobeats,
Afrobeat,
Africa. Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
the Tyler, Davido, Burna
Zika's
Boy.
people now. Zika's people taking it every year.
Yeah,
You're
that's why.
jealous.
That's why I was asking her the question. What did she take? Who should
That's
have?
what she. She's happy.
Who should have won? Who should have won? Because apparently Davido was so much thinking that he's gonna win. Yeah,
Who
Oh,
won?
well,
Tyler,
Tyler.
right?
Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler,
Mm,
yeah.
yes.
Well, if you're good in your craft and the world embraces you, then you deserve to win. If that's the case, there'll be winners and there'll be losers in everything. So,
Mhm.
if Davido doesn't win this time around, or if whoever doesn't win in any category, it doesn't make them less of who they are.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
I
That's
just
very true.
think that this Grammy was quite controversial because of what's happening in the US.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, Trevor Noah being the being the host
Oh, Trevor,
of this
Trevor Noah.
Well,
people,
what was up? What was wrong with Trevor Noah being the host?
he's the perfect host, although people call him Trouble Noah. Well, when he
Yeah.
tried to crack a joke of
I know.
Trump and and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and Trump also got at him, calling him names,
Yeah.
But well, it was quite controversial because a lot of people who mounted the stage talked about this ICE deportation and all that stuff. So, but all the same, I think the Grammys was quite different from the previous episodes I've seen,
I
from
see.
highlights I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not a huge what you call aberration from the norm though, because the current issue is ICE now, but you find more and more that the Grammys become a platform for political statements too for many artists. When they
But
win, they
yeah.
use that platform to, and they tend to lean liberal. So
Hmm.
conservatives do not really appreciate that. But you find that it becomes a huge platform. They find themselves on the big stage with a wide audience and they use it for political stuff, which is not supposed to be the speech for acceptance, but it's become the norm.
Yeah, it became the norm. And
Yeah.
for me, one of the best part of it was the lifetime award given to Fela, of course.
I have
You
an
know.
issue with that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
What is
What
the
is
I
it?
have an issue with that.
issue?
I don't have an issue with fella getting it, but I think it should have been there should have been a not because fella started as a high life singer, right? Because of a Bo Taylor.
Mhm.
You know that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then when he was in London and he ran into Osibisa,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's when he heard Afro funk
Hmm.
and switched his genre because after he got introduced to that to Afro beat at the time he called it, right? And I think when the story is being told, it's not told fully to the evolution of the genre, right? And so, yes, fella took it through the roof and deserves it, but I also feel like the narrative is still not complete.
Well, I guess it depends on what Ibo Taylor was singing,
Ibo Taylor
compared
was
to what's
singing.
singing about. Yeah.
Ibotela is more Afrobeat too, right?
Yeah.
Afrobeat. And fella was a high life. If you look it up, and he actually himself gives the credit to Sibisa and Ibotela because he came to Ghana to come and with Ibotela,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Record with him and work with him for a while. But when he went to London and he ran into Osibisa,
Hmm.
that's when he switched to
Yeah.
uh,
I am speaking more about the lyrical content.
the content
Yeah.
that you have to give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they have to get because most of those other people weren't talking about much in terms of political and
Exactly.
using the content for social change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the things that took fella beyond the moon
Yeah.
because of the police reaction,
Hmm.
speaking truth to power,
The
the
government's.
government,
Yeah.
and everything else. It etches you in the annals of history as somebody who was a change maker with your craft.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I might deviate a bit. Sorry, Manuel, but just before you go on, just
Yeah.
a quick one. From what Kwesi was saying about not giving
The full credit,
the full
the
credits
mhm,
to who deserves it.
Hmm.
I just want to say that it's a very sensitive issue
mhm,
when it comes to these matters. But we know that, for example, there are songwriters, and those songwriters don't sing. For
that's
example,
true.
Whitney Houston, she sang a lot of songs that were no hers originally,
Hmm.
and she made those songs, global.
Hmm.
So if Fela, got his inspiration from the person you're talking about, I don't know
Hmm.
the name. Is the first
Hmm.
time actually hearing the name. I don't think you should take that away from Fela. If he made Afrobeats popular with the way he crafted his art, with the way
Hmm.
he used it for political activism, I don't think that you should take that away from him. If he made it more popular than the person that you think gave him the idea, or who he took it from, or however it is, I think you should, let Fela enjoy or bask in this time
Hmm.
when he's been given this Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Go
Very.
ahead.
No.
We could go on and on and on, but
No, no, but because I wanted you to, because our guest is waiting on the wings, and
right. And
we,
we have a very, very, very esteemed guest here today. So I
Yeah.
think it will be a great way to segue to bring him on, and I'll talk a little bit about his background. And correct me if I get the name wrong. Is it Nakel Nikema?
Nakel,
Nakel
Nakel.
Nikema. Yeah.
Nikema.
Exactly.
Nikema.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
Nakel. Yeah.
I was
That's my name.
practicing, man. I was practicing. I was practicing for that 3 days. I'm just joking.
Yeah, the
Uh,
complete name is Nakel and Tuba, but since it is too long, I cut it off for, Americans.
thank you so much. But I think you should still write it out so that we can practice it. If we could say German names and all these other people's names, you should be able to say your name.
Yeah. I think so.
Nikema is a business consultant, author, and expert in international management with over 2 decades of experience. Throughout his distinguished career, he has earned a reputation for delivering strategic guidance, driving transformative growth, and offering impactful solutions to complex global challenges. Born in Burkina Faso, Nakel's leadership philosophy is shaped by his country's values of trust, integrity, and community collaboration. These principles, combined with his cross-cultural insights, allow him to lead in ways that resonate with both local and global audiences, making him a trusted advisor to organizations worldwide. He's also a Who is Who in America 2024 honored listee. He made that list. Now, I don't want to start naming the books he's written because we will not finish today, but please welcome Nakel to Africa Straight Talk. Nakel,
Thank
welcome.
you so much. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
we have to say that it comes from Burkina Faso, which they call in Africa the
Upright people of upright people, right?
exactly, the
Nation of
land
upright
of
people.
upright people. Yeah.
Mhm. So, many Africans in the diaspora struggle to balance cultural identity with global professional expectations. If you had that experience, how have you navigated that personally?
Thank you so much for, giving me this opportunity to, kind of share my views and opinions on, the world globally. So, as someone in the diaspora, definitely I've experienced this, having to kind of negotiate between my African heritage and adaptation in different countries, not only in the US. I lived in, many other countries and I had to do this adaptation. But what I've learned is that, the goal is not to dilute one for the other, but most importantly, to integrate both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like my cultural, like taking example of, on my cultural background, it gives me resilience, how Burkina Faso is landlocked and, everything, the drought, and it gives us resilience.
Right.
We are community centered in Africa, not only in my country, in Africa globally. And this is very important. Maybe we'll talk about it later. And it also gives us a sense of purpose, which is, to me, the sense of life is, definitely purpose is key. And coming now to my global exposure, it sharpened my professionalism. This global exposure hasn't started when I got out of Africa, even within Africa, even when living in Africa and traveling across different countries. This was already there. It started sharpening my professionalism, my discipline, and this is very important, especially to engage in business. Self-discipline becomes very important. Nobody has to discipline you, you have to discipline yourself. And it also gave me a strategic mindset, right? So navigating both of these worlds, definitely taught me that identity is not a limitation, but it's rather, a competitive advantage when embraced internationally.
Nice.
I have a follow-up question to that, if you don't mind. So you said Burkina Faso is community centered just like the rest of Africa. Now, in comparison to the US, I believe you reside here now. Were you able to seamlessly adapt to the culture here? Because it feels like the community experience we have in Africa is not the same as here.
Yeah.
Definitely, adaptation is survival. I usually say that, adaptation is survival
Yeah.
Hmm.
for human beings. And in my experience, because the first state where I resided when I moved to the US was New York.
Hmm.
And you see, like, the business platform of the world and all of that. And the erosion of community started when I got there. And it was really contrasting with what I've experienced in Africa. And I really had to learn to adapt to that. For instance, seeing people from the same family, brothers, like siblings, when the first one is kind of, you know, compulsively rich, and his direct brother, his sibling, is staying on the street, having nowhere to lay his head, and they don't care. That's not the problem. That was something that probably, like, I mean, it was traumatizing to me to see this because in Africa, even our friends, when they are in trouble, we can pay for the school fees of their kids. We can feed the family, talk less of our siblings. So there was really a great, I mean, like a huge need of adaptation for me to live here.
All right. So we are living down in the world of AI technology. Do you think AI will threaten human creativity or slowly replace human decision making?
Um, to me, and I've written a book on AI, Psyche and Silicon. And to me, AI isn't here to replace nobody.
Hmm.
AI is just here to sharpen or kind of elevate our sense of judgment. It's here to uh, help us be more imaginative, more creative. Um, I don't think it will ever be able to replace humans or do things exactly the same way as humans do. They'll keep imitating. You know, they
Yeah.
are human inventions. I don't believe that human invention will ever um, outrun humans. They might do it in terms of the speed of thinking or doing certain things,
Yeah.
but the human touch, the human loop is still needed in AI. And most importantly, ethics. You know, ethics is, and this is one of the key things I speak about in my book. It's really to call on decision makers and, engineers, the tech community to pay keen attention um, to ethics while developing whatever they are doing with AI.
I want to touch on the ethics for a bit because as it stands now, and this is don't want to get too political, but as it stands now, with the sort of legislative paralysis that we have now, that we're not able to pass anything in Congress,
Yeah.
and then the technology, the speed at which the technology is developing. I mean, where is the referee going to come from? Because the people who are supposed to be refereeing it do not understand it and frankly don't seem to have the wherewithal to even start addressing the issue.
And that's true. You said it's great that you mentioned that because the people who are the referee, they are in the pocket of the
Or the people making the
who's
technology.
making the technology. So
What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
yeah, I believe, and this is a global trend that I've
Mhm.
observed in the US. Everything is tied to those who have the power, and those who have the power are those who have the money. Like, universally, when people have money, the next thing is power. They look for power. Like this is the
Mhm.
universal progression of humans. Like uh, until they make money, and when they have money, now they need power. And with power, they can do everything. That's why you can see most of them, they buy the press, they buy the media, they buy
mhm.
TVs and networks of communication networks and so on and so forth. So
Mm-hmm.
the key here, and like you said, uh, you know, the the people are left aside because those who are supposed to be kind of monitoring this and making the decisions do not even understand, what it is. Uh, and those who understand what it is are going beyond limits, not even considering some ethical, uh, structures or um, ethical thinking to continue, designing and developing whatever they are doing in AI. And this is where the problem lies. And again, one of the things that I've written, that I've mentioned in my book is decision makers need to have the knowledge necessary to make informed decisions that uh, enlighten the global community, decisions that, kind of let everybody's mind rest because sometimes our minds are racing and there's some sort of fear about the future when we look at AI and
Mm-hmm.
the speed at which it is going.
You are listening to Africa Straight Talk, your go-to place for African immigrant experience.
Permit me to ask one last question and now we'll move on. One last question.
Okay.
I think this is really important. You mentioned earlier on that AI is not here to replace humans, right? And we also do know that profit is the real thing that motivates people who have money, the rich and the wealthy. They just want to make more profit. Aside from power, they still want to make more profit. Now, if they cut out labor, human labor, right? And they could get machines, automate everything, and have machines do things for them, then they wouldn't have to be paying wages, which would increase their profits. So if there's no referee and there's this thing here, how is that helping humans? It sounds a bit, when I think about it, it sounds a bit, what's the word? Pollyannish. I guess that's the word that comes to mind. And sorry for throwing out big words, but where we hope it will go this way, but it's not going to go that way just based on what's happening on the ground.
Well, and this is, once again, the role of the Congress, like, when I say decision makers, I'm referring to,
Congress, yeah.
up to that level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is to make sure that, certain things are kept in place. When I say it's not going to replace humans, I mean, to some extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
If not, we've already seen some job cuts due to AI, like some repetitive jobs. And this is what most of the engineers are saying. Hey, what we are trying to take away with AI is the boring stuff that people don't want to do, and so on and so forth. And if we don't pay attention, and this is why I always reference ethics, if we don't pay attention, they will slowly, like, it's like ask for the finger, you give the finger, they want the hand, the whole hand. And if they get the whole hand, they want the whole body. So they start by saying, hey, it's just this stuff that AI will replace. And then when they get that, they'll move ahead. And it's, to me, here, it's not going to replace human beings. And I usually tell my collaborators that people using AI are going to replace people who don't use it. We need to learn how to use AI smartly. And this is why prompt engineering is, to my, as far as I'm concerned, it is something that we should start looking up to. How can we start speaking to AI the way AI understands it? This is prompt engineering. And people who know how to use AI are going to take over the jobs of those who don't know how to use it. But still, it remains human creativity, inputting into AI. I still believe that the human loop is very important, even in AI.
Exactly. There's no way you can make that maths without humans being at the center of it. There are a lot of questions to ask on AI and technology, but just to move on to another question, kindly, what advice would you give African entrepreneurs that are trying to build internationally recognized businesses?
Well, I would say it is threefold. Like I have three uh, advices, and starting with having a global view of everything. Like we should root our insights in Africa, but um, go global, right? Because our markets, like African market, teach us resilience, frugality, innovation as well, even under constraints, right? And these are skills that the world now values. That's the reason why when we go elsewhere, they value our input and they even trust us because of that. Like in America, and you might have had the same experience. When you say you come from Africa and it's about work, they trust you because they know you won't fail them. This they know. Africans, they work like terribly, right? The second advice I would give is adapting to global standard from day one. Because when you move out of Africa, things that are very important and that I consider as being global currencies are governance, transparency. Sometimes we lack of transparency in Africa. Let's face it. I usually say until we face our own problems, our own issues, until we acknowledge them, we can't go beyond them. And we also need to match um, customer experience with international expectations as well. Um, and my third advice would be to leverage network. It is very important. In this world, it's true that we come all alone, right? Even trains come one by one, but community is very important. And in the diaspora, and like right now, I feel at ease speaking to people from the African diaspora, right? This is the networking I'm calling on, like leveraging network, diaspora communities, global accelerators, and cross-border partnership as well. Like we should also try to kind of merge like into the culture that is welcoming us. We need to network with people from this culture and and move forward. I usually tell people when you go to a country, the fastest way to move forward is using the country people for whatever you are doing, even in business. If you might have a PhD in, like a DBA, but when you go to a country, if you can hire someone from the country to manage your business, even though you were managing it yourself back in your country, do it because it's going to take it to some kind of, it open doors, let's say it this way. So these are the three advices I would give.
Not only that, but the cultural understanding of the country is very important. Yeah,
exactly.
And many American businesses have felt like that in the past. I heard because they didn't understand the culture and they were doing things that the people of that country did not appreciate. Yeah, I mean, there are so many business cases like that. But what global trend worries you the most right now? And what global trend gives you the most hope?
Um, on my worries, I would say it's the erosion of trust, globally, right? Between citizen and institutions. And once again, one of my book titled Integrity in the Engineered is looking into this, right? The origin of trust between citizens and institutions, nations and allies. Even look at this globally, like, okay, let's not dive into politics. Let's keep it here. And even humans and technology. These are things that really worry me. We already spoke about AI. And the most important thing is like when trust collapses, progress slows. Like, it's trust is very important in anything. And on my hopes, I would say the rise of global connectivity, right? Making the world, um, let's say, um, should I say a unique space? Like
Mm.
when you connect, this global connectivity makes the world unique. And this is what brings us to one of my beliefs that, you know, God never divided the world. We humans divided it because of our survival instinct. And that's it. So the global connectivity is bringing us to the reality of things, that things shouldn't be divided the way they are right now. And um, technologically, it makes things much um, easier to communicate, the fluency, um, being socially conscious as well, and unafraid to challenge uh, outdated systems, for example. So these are really, these are the worries and hopes that I can share.
That was a very good information. And thanks for sharing with us. Um, what I'm thinking about is business intelligence. You know, what are some of the pros and cons of business intelligence? What do you
Well,
mean by
yeah.
that? What is it?
Mhm.
And what are some of the pros and cons of it? I would think it doesn't have any cons, but
Yeah, everything has, pros and cons. Like it's like a sword, okay?
okay.
Uh, I mean, BI is, it refers to any technology,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say processes that transform raw data into actionable insights, uh, to allow decision making, right? And
Mm-hmm.
action, most importantly, action. So the pros of business intelligence are, better decision making, because it provides insight that enlighten us on certain things that we might haven't paid attention to, and this allows us to make better decisions, knowing, having these insight. There is also a real-time visibility into operations
Mm-hmm.
for every business, um, improve efficiency and forecasting, competitive advantage through
Mm-hmm.
data-driven, strategies. And usually I break down BI because when you say BI, people are like, I taught BI. I lectured BI back in my country, and I used to tell my students, you know what? BI starts with ourselves. When we wake up in the morning before we even step out of the bed, we process a lot of things about our body. We
Mm-hmm.
pick information from our body. Do I feel good? Do I, and these informations that we collect from our internal systems and everything allow us to even know if we should step out of the bed or not. And this is the first decision we make. BI is exactly like this. When we move it out of our bodies, out of ourselves, let's see any business operation the same way.
Mm.
The cons of business intelligence are, the high implementation cost. Yeah, let's face it, there are high implementation, it's not given to anybody. But we also have tools. We even developed complete SaaS, software as a service, that allow people to can even use it freely. Like, there is a free version that allow them to generate few documents and make decisions. One of the cons is also it requires strong data governance, um, the risk of over reliance too, right? Uh, one of my books, once again, talks about the dark side of BI, where I say, and some of my colleagues said, hey, you are into BI and you are talking about the dark side. Are you trying to, to send away, to shy away our customers? I say, no, we need to tell people the truth. If they misuse data, it's going to make them collapse. And this is very important. And the last thing I would mention here is the data privacy and security concerns as well. So these are things that um, I can mention for pros and cons.
You've talked about this forecasting. While you were speaking earlier, you talked about forecasting and futuristic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you have a book, Futurable. I
Oh,
want you to tell us about the book. But before you do that, before you tell us
mhm.
about a little about that book and what we as Africans and especially your African leaders can take away from that book, a lot of people think that the only way we can help the continent, talking about Africa, is to move back to Africa and make those changes that we really want to see in Africa. How can we also help build our countries, from the diaspora?
Yeah. That's, it's a great question. I would say, like, starting with the last one that you just brought up, about how we in the diaspora we can help. And this brings me back to mentioning Futurable. Futurable is, the translated version, the French and Spanish version of the book. The original version written in English is Rising on Our Own, and it's very important. It speaks by itself. We want Africa to rise by its own. We don't want people to come and dictate what we should do in Africa. And sometimes the aid they bring is not an aid. Okay, so I'll come back to that later, but I just wanted to mention this because there is a connection. This is an example of something we can bring to Africa from the diaspora. When I wrote this book, I sent it to the African Union, right? And I sent it to my
Wow.
country, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in my country, so that they can use it. Up until now, I haven't gotten any feedback from the African Union because they don't like books like this. Let's
Surprise,
say
surprise.
so.
It's not
And
surprising.
this, but this is an example of what the diaspora can bring to Africa, like
Mm-hmm.
the transfer of knowledge, transfer of technology, investment in entrepreneurship, policy advisory, mentorship and capacity building, building global bridges for African investors and institutions. So these are things that I believe we, as diaspora, can bring. We don't need to be in the African soil to do all of this. The vision of the book is, it's touching to both, let's say, world, quote unquote, like the Western world and, in Africa, let's say it this way, because we want a fair trade. And in that book, I try to kind of uh, do a little bit of history to show how they divided us, our boundaries that we have right now. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
choose them,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to erase these boundaries. And in the conclusion of the book, I even suggested that we, build the sovereign states of Africa, the United Sovereign States of Africa, USSA, because until we do that, the divide to conquer will continue. And this is what they did, and they are still doing. So this is the message I am sending to Africans globally and to our leaders specifically. And at the same time, the message that I'm sending to the Western world is to tell them, hey, Africa is the future of humanity. We have everything the world needs to continue living. Don't come and steal what we have because it is stealing. No matter how the processes they use to come and pick, it is stealing.
Speaking of that, the biggest thief of them all is France.
Yeah.
Yeah,
France
absolutely. Yeah.
is
And this is,
that the
I
biggest thief
mean,
of them all.
exactly. And that's why, I keep saying that, until we unite as a continent so
Continent.
that we
Mm-hmm.
can face, exactly, so that we can face the world the way we should face the world and have the world look at us the way they should look at us. And putting out countries like France, like when we are speaking about all of this, we're not speaking about the people. The people are good. Like in Burkina Faso, we've sent out France army and a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
from France,
Mm-hmm.
even ambassadors, we chase them away. But we don't have a problem with the people. We are still friends with the people. We welcome everybody in Burkina Faso. But The system is what we are combating.
Yeah. It's a tall order for us. And
Very tall
hopefully,
one.
yeah, hopefully, if it doesn't happen in our lifetime, at least
And
books like
uh,
your book is setting the
yeah,
ideological framework
yeah, e-
for
e-
other
exactly.
people to move the ball forward.
And to add up, to add just a little thing, like what they are doing, it is not only, they're doing it everywhere. Look at
Hmm.
what is happening in Nigeria right now and the
Hmm.
intervention of the US.
Right.
This is
Hmm.
problematic. It is, no matter how it is, even if it was helpful, it is still problematic. It is,
Yeah.
it is bringing some childishness to Africa. It is infantilizing. It's, I mean, it's, I'm so passionate about it that I don't even know
And
that, maybe I'm
we could
using,
talk about that all day long because we also enable it. We for chump change, our so-called leaders,
Yeah, the corrupt,
roll
very
over
corrupt,
for,
very
yeah,
corrupt leaders. Yeah.
and this
That's the
is,
word,
this is
corruption.
what we need to
yes,
change.
yeah,
This is what we need to change. Look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing right now. Even with
hmm,
that, they are still accusing him of, certain things that he hasn't really done because they want to break the system. When they
yes.
see somebody come, and this is the problem with we
They cut the snake,
Africans.
the head of the
Let's
snake.
face,
Hmm.
let's face it, brothers and sisters, we Africans, we are the problem, our own problem. So let's solve ourselves first before even facing others.
Amen to that.
You are a firm believer in continuous learning, just to keep learning. And as for me, I think once you're alive and you have to keep learning, and if you stop learning, you die. But what would you expand on? How would you expand on this? Because in African culture, people believe that when you reach a certain age, sitting in the classroom is no longer appropriate, unlike what we see here. So how would you address that?
Yeah. They say that you're too old among the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Good question. This is my firm belief, and I have one of my mottos is every day is a learning until the ultimate exit. And I used to tell my students, even the ultimate exit is a learning because until you die, you haven't learned how to die. So this is to tell you how far I take learning. We want it or not, we are learning every single second of the day. So why not make it conscious and be open to it? It is definitely going to help. And this is very important. And whatever I'm building, even one of my ventures is also into continuous learning, um, because I truly believe in it. But hey, in Africa, the, I mean, let's say it is the mix between modern learning and traditional learning that make people think that at some age they are not learning anymore. In Africa, we've always learned at every age. Like our tradition itself is a continuous learning. It is because people mix that with modern learning that they started thinking that, at some age they are not learning anymore. But we are indeed, I think we are even the one who uh, kind of exported continuous learning to the world.
Leads me to a very final question. This has been great. You believe that success lies in serving others. Are you referring to the benefits of solidarity, where one feels a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and purpose strengthens the feelings of usefulness, gives meaning to one's life, and aligns actions with one's values?
Well, and this is once again one of my strongest beliefs that the essence of life is being useful to others, it's being at the service of others.
Hmm.
Period. To me, everything is about service, even leadership. My vision of leadership is being at the service of others, not looking, standing above others or looking down at people. It is service. And this is why, you know, uh, my book on, the President's Chronicle it stems from this thinking, this vision of leadership in general. Now that I'm living in this country, hey, what shaped this country's leadership? What made this country stand out in the face of the world? And I looked back at all these leaders to try and learn something from them. And this is where the President Chronicle, a legacy of leadership, came from. I try to summarize whatever each of them has done. And in each of their action, I have seen service, service, and service. It gives a sense of purpose. It increases self-esteem, like you said, an alignment between values and action, a feeling of usefulness and contribution as well. Because to me, the true success is not measured by what we accumulate. It's not by accumulation, but by impact, right? Because services transform our ambitions into legacy. And my reference to legacy, I'm into insurance too, and especially in life insurance. When we speak of legacy, we are referring to materialistic legacy, like what we leave behind in terms of the material, the wealth. I'm not referring to this when I'm speaking of legacy. Legacy to me is what we leave behind in the memories of people, be it in the books we've written, be it in the lectures we've given. I'm here, and some of my students, when they see me, they still repeat some sentences that I've forgotten, that I was using in class, and that I've completely forgotten. This is what I call legacy.
Right. That is intellectual artifacts.
Yeah, I mean, we like to thank our guest, Nakel, for being on Africa Straight Talk. We really appreciate all the information you provided us, and I mean, we learned a lot, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I did.
I did.
Personalizing
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
So, Nakel,
Thank you so
Nakel,
much.
do
Yes.
you have a website where people can reach you?
Absolutely, yeah. My personal website, or my official, I think people say this, my official website is nakelnikema.com. Everything is there. And this is my executive coaching website. I'm an executive coach myself, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, because, I don't like hypnosis. I do hypnotherapy because, the usefulness of hypnosis comes from that. So some people use hypnosis for other things, including theatrical displays on TVs. This is not hypnosis. Hypnosis is something different. So I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also a PNL practitioner. NLP in English we will say NLP. So yeah. People can connect with me there. I have other websites too, but I will just give this one because they can also connect to the other website from that one.
And you live here in the Bay Area, we?
Yeah. I'm in Fremont. I'm in Fremont.
Fremont, California.
Okay.
That's good. This has been Africa Straight Talk. I, along with Kwesi Wilson and Zika, truly appreciate your support. Reach out. We love to hear your thoughts and keep the conversation going.
And you can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast by searching Africa Straight Talk. And of course, spread the word. You can tell a friend or 100 friends about us. If you're interested in sponsoring our podcast or being a guest on our show, do email us at africastraighttalk, that's one word, africastraighttalk@gmail.com. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We invite you to check back here for our next one. In the meantime, be safe, be well, and love one another.